Well, welcome back to There's Always Next Year podcast. It is Monday, March 6th. We're going to have a great show for you guys tonight, and we're going to be talking a lot of sports. We're going to be talking a lot of NBA. We're going to be talking a lot of NFL field management, and possibly a little bit of some dad jokes, too.
Maybe. Hello, friends, and happy Monday. Happy whatever day you're listening to this. Happy Monday for us currently. It was a beautiful weekend. We got some good weather here in Kansas City.
Beautiful. We got 70 degrees today.
70 degrees today.
Yep.
It got above 70 yesterday. I think it probably pushed 75 yesterday.
Yeah.
And my golf score pushed 100.
Which is normal. Just
a usual round for Adam, for sure. But happy to be here. For his, I was talking a little bit about playing golf yesterday. I wasn't working too hard, and we've seen in recent weeks, I think it's been a recurring theme, or at least something that some people have been aware of for, I'd say, a number of seasons now. But there's been recent scrutiny brought to certain NBA stars and quote unquote workload management.
Yeah.
Have you seen anything about that?
I definitely have. And I think this has been something going on for like the past 10 years. LeBron has been tapering off towards the end of the season, especially when he's working towards in the playoffs and everything like that. So, but when you're getting paid millions upon millions of dollars to play a game, play a basketball game,
right?
You shouldn't be taking time off. You got fans paying a lot of money.
You got these kids wearing jerseys of these players,
wearing jerseys, paying a ton of money,
buying your merch
to go out and watch you play the game, and you're sitting on the bench.
You're sitting on the
suit.
You're sitting on the bench wearing your greatest fashion outfit that you could come up with for the day.
Right.
Your body is completely fine. You're not nursing an injury. Like, I'm sorry. You're a professional athlete. Hockey players don't do it. Baseball players don't. Baseball players play 162 regular season games a year.
You think
occasionally they get a day off. Occasionally. And it's rare. And it certainly isn't on a day when their team is in a position where they need to win.
Well, you brought up hockey, you brought up baseball. NFL players certainly don't do it either.
No.
They don't sit out a game. I mean, I know they only play 17 games in a regular season.
The majority of those guys are fighting tooth and nail.
Right.
To be able to play and not be scratched from the lineup.
Exactly.
And to me, I might be a little biased here. To me, this is an overarching theme with the NBA. And this is a reason that it's really tough for me as a sports fan to get excited about following the NBA. It's more of the same. It's the, we talked a few weeks ago about LeBron just throwing an absolute hissy fit. And that's not anything uncommon. And LeBron's not the only one, but he's the most well-known to do it.
Right.
But these guys I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. It's a diva sport.
Well, and
it's a diva sport.
You don't pay attention to the NBA until the playoffs actually start. So what's the point of playing the regular season if you don't even pay attention to it as a fan? As a sports fan, I love all sports.
Well, but they're not catering to us. So I'm not looking at it from that perspective. I know the NBA is not catering to me because I don't give a shit about the NBA. Yeah. So there's no way that I am their target audience with what they're doing. But my point is this. When I think of the NBA, if somebody talks to me right now and I'm giving my input as far as the NBA, and I didn't really plan on bashing the NBA this hard when I was talking about this, but here I am. My issue is this. You got guys flopping left and right and then whining about not getting calls. You've got guys, and I'm going to name the one, and I've probably gone after him at least once before, but I think it's worth mentioning again. Kevin Durant. How many times has this guy said, I don't want to play, I demand a trade, I want to go to a different team that's a contender? Teams bend over backwards to make a trade to acquire this guy, and then stuff goes south after half a season or a season, and it's just another nightmare for these teams. I'm bummed. I've always really liked the Phoenix Suns. Anything short of the Phoenix Suns going and winning the NBA title this year, going and getting Kevin Durant, I believe, is a cancer.
No, they should go and win the NBA title. I 100% agree with that. If they don't win the NBA title with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, that doesn't make sense to me. But
Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving.
Also, you got the Mavericks. That's what I was right about to bring up.
And the Warriors can't be ruled out.
You can't be.
I heard the Knicks have won like 9 in a row.
Yeah,
Kara agrees with me. But to my point, as far as what I was saying, it's an overarching theme. It's an overarching theme of guys just saying, I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to get what I want, or I'm going to throw a fit if I don't.
Well, you know who first started that?
Probably LeBron.
It was LeBron James.
I'm not arguing
saying
that.
He's going to Miami to play with Chris Bosh, to play with...
Well, no, because, I mean, he chose to do that, but that wasn't him saying, I'm not going to do something if I don't get what I want. He had the opportunity to sign with 2 different teams there, and he chose to sign with the one that was the more star-studded.
Correct. He wanted to go win championships.
Right. But I'm not talking about the mentality.
Durant left Brooklyn to go try and win a championship with the Phoenix Suns. I mean,
you're right. But the difference is this. LeBron didn't sit in Cleveland and say, I'm not going to play. I'm going to sit on the bench. LeBron played his ass off when he was in Cleveland.
He did.
Early in his career, he wasn't doing workload management. He was playing 81 games a season and playing as much of 4 quarters as he could.
Right.
My point with Kevin Durant is he sits there and he pouts and he says, I'm not going to play. I'm going to demand a trade. And he's done this multiple times. And he doesn't seem like I guarantee there are plenty of guys that have played with LeBron that would probably say he's a good teammate. Not everybody.
Yeah.
But I would guarantee there would be a number of guys. I don't know what the percentage is. I can't think of probably that many guys based on what I know about Kevin Durant that look back on their time with him. They're like, man, that guy was a good teammate.
Well, didn't Kendrick...
Or even from the Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan standpoint, that guy pushed our team to be better and to be champions.
Right. Didn't Kendrick Perkins play with him in Oklahoma City?
He very well may have.
I'm pretty sure Kendrick Perkins
he may
played
have.
with him back in Oklahoma City, and we got a clip from Kendrick Perkins talking about this load management stuff. I think we should probably play that.
Absolutely.
It's starting to get beyond disrespectful, not only to the fan base that's out there, but it's starting to get disrespectful where it is disrespectful to the guys that paved the way for guys today to be getting paid $35 to $50 million a year. Okay, you had guys like Bill Russell and Larry Bird and Magic Johnson and Isaiah Thomas, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Garnett, Dirk Nowitzki, Tim Duncan. Those guys were available. Those guys showed up to work. Michael Jordan showed up to work. And they paved the way for guys today to be getting paid top dollars. And now what's happening is that these guys are doing a disservice. The players and the organization, to a standpoint, is doing a disservice to the next generation that's coming up. Because what's going to happen is when they get to the CBA, you know they're going to come up with a Ben Simmons rule. They're going to come up with a James Harden rule. They're going to come up with a Kyrie Irving rule, a Kevin Durant rule. And it's crazy because all you are getting first of all, this is what you signed up for. You signed up to get paid top dollar and to play the game of basketball and to be available. To be available.
They just got to be available. Why are they not available? Because they're pussies, in my aspect.
Wow. Well, there's that.
You're getting paid $40 million a year to play a game, and you're not even willing to play that game? Like, come on.
Why would you if you don't have to and keep getting the paycheck?
Like, I guess I understand that, but...
From that point, you're not wrong, but damn. And you know what? Again, that's why I'll pay to see Major League Baseball. That's why I'll pay to see football on occasion, because it's outrageous. Just hear me on that, NFL. I know you don't care, but
guess what you won't pay for?
It is outrageous. I'll pay to see hockey all damn day. I'm not paying to see the NBA.
Yeah, guys on the hockey rink throwing fists at each other. And these NBA stars, superstars, cannot even get out there and, like, play a game? Come on.
Well, yeah. And, you know, throwing fists. NBA guys, actually, there is one guy recently that has been highlighted for throwing a fist, throwing several fists at a 17-year-old, apparently last year.
Yeah.
And that brings me to this week's Dick of the Week.
Dick of the Week.
Ja Morant. This one was really easy, actually. You know what? It was kind of a wild week because
I feel like we had multiple dicks
there
of the
was
week that could have been up there.
A lot of people who really put themselves, you know, last week I was kind of struggling to find one that made sense.
Yeah.
And this week I was just don't I know.
Your inbox was just flooded.
Inbox was flooded with dicks. I just saw you lean into your microphone and I just knew. I didn't even see your face. I've gotten to the point where Matt and I, for the first several months that we were doing this, we didn't know each other very well. And now I've gotten to the point where I know when I say something, even if I realize after I've said it, just knowing his sense of humor, that I've teed him up for something. I looked over before he even started leaning to his microphone because I was like, this motherfucker's going to say something. But yes, so this week, inbox just overflowing. A lot of Dick of the Week contestants this week. Ja Morant, he set himself apart because there was not one but two different incidents that came to light.
He beat up a 17-year-old kid and he flashed a gun on his Instagram story. So I mean, what are you trying to do, Ja Morant? You trying to prove you're a thug or what?
No, he's trying to prove he's a fool, and he successfully did prove that. Going back to not to say that there's not this issue in other professional sports, and I would guess that the NFL might be the more prevalent one, with guys having incidents where they could have handled themselves better, especially with regard towards firearms. The one or two that come to mind for me are Alden Smith and Frank Clark off the top of my head. Mm-hmm. Like, you've got kids coming to your games, wearing your jersey, asking for autographs, asking for pictures. And, you know, it's just like, it's sad to see. As a kid who went to regularly go watch games when I was a kid, go get autographs.
Toma, I mean, yeah.
The greatest Major League Baseball player of all time.
I don't know about that.
But it's just disappointing. And I know I sound like an old parent when I say I'm not mad, I'm disappointed. But, like, it's easy to get caught up in things sometimes, and I recognize that. I'm by no means the beacon of responsibility. But have a little bit of damn awareness.
Well, also, Ja Morant was one of the superstars coming up in the league. Like, he
was a big face from the day he entered the NBA because he was big in college.
And so maybe he just never grew up. Maybe I don't know. He all of a sudden decides to do this dumb crap that he's doing.
Well, it doesn't sound like we're going to see him for at least several games.
2 games. He was suspended for 2 games.
He was suspended for 2, but he's taken some time away, to my understanding.
Okay, I didn't see that part.
To my understanding, it will be more than 2 games from the reports I've read. From the interview I saw with the head coach of the Grizzlies as well.
Okay.
So
Which he should. He needs to take time away. He needs to figure out
Absolutely.
what the hell is going on.
I'm a little surprised it was just a 2-game suspension. I would think the NBA would want to address that a little bit more severe, knowing that he is certainly the face of the franchise in Memphis.
Yes.
But he is one of the faces of the NBA.
Well, then maybe the NBA should take a look at their load management as well and maybe address that also.
Yeah, maybe he's played too many games, just a little too stressed out.
Oh, that's it. He just needs to take a couple games off, go get a new outfit, sit on the sun.
Yep, there it is.
What a fool I am.
We figured it out.
Guys, Ja Morant's not going to be Dick of the Week anymore. We're not going to have any issues with this. This is fantastic. I don't think we've ever solved a Dick of the Week issue so quickly. This is exciting.
We did. We solved it.
Good work, team.
Anyway, let's get back to the NFL because I love talking about the NFL. And how about George Toma? You heard that guy's name before, Adam?
I have not, while Adam recovers from this laughter.
Well, basically, I'll just keep going. George Toma, he started out at the age of 13 as the Kansas City Athletics field. He helped out with their field. He helped to figure out how to get their field great and ready to go for the games. And then eventually...
Great and ready.
Eventually, the Royals moved into Kauffman Stadium. This was back at the old Municipal Stadium where George Toma first originally worked. Eventually, the Royals...
Where the Athletics played.
Where the Athletics played. Or eventually, the Royals moved into Kauffman Stadium. The Chiefs moved into Arrowhead Stadium. And he maintained the name as the head groundskeeper for them. So...
For both teams?
He did both teams. Yep.
Really?
For the longest time. From when he was about 18 years old until he was about 83 years old is what I remember.
And he managed both teams that entire time?
Yes.
That's impressive.
They're right next door, Adam.
Literally right next door.
Seasons literally overlap.
They literally do. But... he was able to do it, and he also managed multiple of the Super Bowl stadiums. And so when he went down to Super Bowl 57, where the Chiefs beat the...
Yeah, who was that?
The Philadelphia Eagles?
Where the Chiefs beat the Philadelphia Eagles, he was
literally
like, this field is way overwatered. I guess they watered the crap out of it on a Wednesday before the Super Bowl. Then they drove that thing.
Why was there crap in it?
Watered the crap out of it.
Well, why was there crap in it to begin with?
I don't know.
Fertilizer, man.
Sometimes you got to fertilize. So, anyway, then they drove that thing because if you don't know anything about Arizona's field, it's a field that can be taken out of the stadium.
It can be rolled on out.
Rolled out the stadium, and then they basically will get some sunshine on it. They'll water it, and then they'll move it back into the stadium. So after they watered the crap out of it on Wednesday, they rolled it right back into the stadium. They did not let it dry. They didn't let the sun dry it out. And basically he said that's why there was so much slippage happening within the Super Bowl. So
I hate slippage.
Why do you hate slippage? There's nothing wrong with a little bit of slippage, all right?
I'd rather have a little bit of grippage than a little bit of slippage, if you know what I'm saying.
Well...
as a homeowner who has to maintain his lawn, like rule 1 is like picking when to water it. And they tell you not to water it at night because like it stays too wet too long overnight and grows fungus and stuff. So like, how does this guy not realize after you water it, it should sit in the sun longer?
Well, George Toma did realize that. It was the guy who is now in charge. George Toma's not in charge anymore because he was like, screw the NFL. Because the NFL would not heed his, what he was trying to say.
Take heeded.
Yeah. So
to take head.
So they got a Gen Zer in there, and they didn't even know how to Google.
They got a guy probably about our age.
Hey, Matt, when it comes to grass, you like grippage or slippage?
Grippage, for sure.
Okay.
I like a little bit of both. maybe a little bit grippy.
It's a little both.
A little bit
Isn't
slippy.
that just AstroTurf?
Heyo.
Yes.
This is fantastic.
Let's get on out of here.
I'm really glad. I'm really grassed up about that.
Congrats to George Toma on his outstanding long-term career of being a groundskeeper for the NFL stadiums and not
He's
MLB
not retiring.
stadiums.
He just had a quote on something.
But anyway, we're gonna move right into.
Congratulations, nevertheless, George.
Congrats.
We're gonna move right into
Congrats.
some basketball. I hear that there is a Big 12 basketball tournament going on in Kansas City this week.
I have heard the same. I have heard that it starts on Wednesday and it concludes on Saturday.
It does start on Wednesday, and you know who's probably gonna win the whole damn thing?
KU.
I think it's I think it's pretty tough to say. I would venture to guess that KU does not win at all.
I don't know. KU looks really good. Jalen Wilson is.
I'm not saying that because I don't think they're the best team in the Big 12. Let me preface
Then
that.
why are you saying that?
Because I don't think this is where their focus is at. Once they've realized how good they were this year, they're the reigning national champions.
Correct.
They are already the regular season conference champions. They are pretty damn close to are already solidified for a number one seed in the tournament. I would say whether or not they win the Big 12.
Just not the overall number one seed, probably, but they're definitely a number one seed. Yep.
I would agree. Not the overall one. If they win this, they are the overall one, in my opinion. But I think either way, they're a pretty good shot at being a number one seed. One of the number one seeds. And I almost think they might look past it a little bit.
Which is fine. I just think they can't be stopped. Like
I agree.
They're looking very good going into this this Big 12 tournament. I know they lost to Texas, but they weren't playing their best players. They already had the number one seed locked up for the Big 12 tournament. And, I mean, you look at the second best team, which is Texas right now, they're up and down. They're up and down the whole entire time. K-State is probably the third or fourth best team.
And K-State had like a month that they took off like a couple of weeks ago.
They're up and down.
And now they're looking good again. They're looking decent again.
Yeah, except for this last loss to West Virginia. I mean, K-State's up and down too.
But when these teams get hot, I mean, K-State, when they were hot, they were at one point the best team in the Big 12 this year. KU, when they're hot, they're obviously a very big force to be reckoned with. But any of these teams, they get hot at the right time.
And to your point, K-State probably is looking at a Big 12 championship in that tournament, and that's their goal right now.
When you say looking at, like they're the favorite?
No. What I'm saying is like that's what their goal. Their goal is right now. Whereas you said KU is not even. They don't even care. Like they're not even looking at the Big 12 championship. Obviously, they would love it. They would like it, but they're looking more towards the NCAA tournament.
Right. And that's not to say that K-State isn't going to get to that point, but these guys that came to K-State over the last 2 years, they dreamed of having a chance to play for a Big 12 tournament. These guys that came to KU, they dreamed of playing for a national title, and they watched what that team did last year. And as much as I hate to say it, I've been a KU hater my whole life, but
love that.
Credit to Bill Self. They lost a lot of talent off last year's roster, and they come back just as strong this year. And I don't like giving him kudos, but he put together another really, really strong team this year.
It's not hard to do that when you're a blue blood. And you're KU, and you got guys that are...
It's not easy to put together a national championship caliber team 2 years in a row when you have a lot of turnover. Usually there's at least a year or two in there. You think about like your North Carolinas, your Kentuckys.
Yep.
Memphis used to be more in there. Memphis has kind of fallen off. I mean, Kentucky and North Carolina have fallen off. It's weird. Now you look at teams that you look at the top 5 and you see teams like Alabama in there. You see teams like Houston in there. And I think you look at a team like Houston.
I think Houston is better than KU. And I think Houston is going to go on and win the national championship this year.
But you want to know what that goes back to? Coaching and recruiting.
Yeah.
Who's Houston's coach?
I don't know.
It's fuck. I was really hoping you'd know his name because I've got his. It's
Kelvin, not Kelvin Benjamin. That was a
football
wide
player.
receiver.
No, it's the guy who used to. This is going to drive me crazy. Houston head coach. No, not the Texans. Damn it. Basketball. Kelvin Sampson. Kelvin Sampson. I knew I had Kelvin right. Kelvin Sampson, who used to be the head coach of Indiana, if I remember correctly, has a long history of success.
Yeah.
And has gone to Houston and brought that longstanding tradition for him of success and has brought it to a relatively unknown basketball program, at least in our generation.
They used to be good back in the 90s, but yes.
Yeah, at least in our generation. Right. I don't remember Houston being a prevalent team. Credit to Kelvin Sampson. They are a top 5 team. Alabama is a top 5 team. You look at these teams that are not at least schools that I'm used to being powerhouses in basketball.
Typically basketball powerhouses. You think Kentucky, you think KU, you think Duke, you think
North Carolina, UCLA, Indiana.
Yeah. And they're
maybe
not,
Michigan.
The only one,
Michigan. I'd throw Michigan in there.
I would. The only one that's still up there though is KU.
Yeah.
And so credit to Bill Self, like you were trying to say. Credit to Bill Self for keeping them relevant, keeping them up there and doing well.
Now the question is, and this goes back to, is John Calipari still the coach of Kentucky?
He sure is. Yep.
Okay. I'm a little bit interested to see what that team does over the next year or two, because they seem to have.
Well, Calipari's very well known for like one and done.
One and done, right?
So like he brings a player in from high school, probably the top.
The top recruit, the 5-star recruits, right?
Coming in and they play for 1 year and then they go on to the NBA. Now, is he going to be able to continue doing that without the continued success? Because he has not had success the past couple of years.
No, he hasn't. So, and then you look at the other 2 teams, and maybe this is just a transition, and we'll see more success in the next year or two. But
they both lost their head coaches.
They both lost their well-known head coaches,
Roy Williams and Coach K.
North Carolina last year played for the national championship under that brand new head coach.
They did, yeah.
Duke is not having the same success this year.
But those players that were playing were probably recruited by...
A number of them were probably Roy guys.
Williams.
Exactly. Yeah. Just kind of fascinating speculation as far as the NCAA goes.
Right.
But nevertheless, we got kind of all over the place with that. Our goal was to highlight the fact that we're really excited for this Big 12 tournament to come to Kansas City. We've been talking about it 2 or 3 times probably over the last several weeks, as far as this is the most exciting Big 12 basketball tournament that Kansas City has hosted in, I would say, at least a decade.
Well, honestly, this is the first time that maybe a 10 seed, the worst team in the Big 12, could possibly win the damn thing, because like every team is good coming through the Big 12.
And how many of these teams are going to wind up in the NCAA March Madness? I think we could see.
I think 6 or 7.
7, maybe 8 Big 12 teams?
Yeah.
Come on.
That's
crazy.
think
the SEC is going to see a lot of teams too. I think you're going to see a lot of the Big 5 schools this year. SEC, I could see bringing 7, 8 schools. Big 12, I could see bringing 7, 8 schools. That's an entire division of the bracket right there.
And that's
15, 16 teams.
Totally fine by me. I mean, get the Loyola Chicagos out of there. Get the Davidsons out of there.
I don't think you're going to get Loyola or Davidson out there. I'm guessing they'll still be there, but some of those other schools might not. Your North Dakota States, whoever, they might not be showing up quite as much.
UMKCs.
UMKC has never played in the fucking NCAA tournament.
I bet they have.
You're right. They probably have at some point. I don't think they've done it in the last 15 years.
Yeah. No, I don't doubt that.
I don't remember them ever being in it. That's not to say it hasn't happened in my entire lifetime.
I'm just saying, like,
But
it's going to be more fun in the NCAA tournament.
I remember seeing SLU in it. St. Louis has played in it before.
They have.
Yeah.
The Billikens?
The Billikens, that's right.
Yep.
I don't know what the hell I was going to say there. Sorry about that, everyone. No, I think it's just going to be a fascinating tournament. I'm quite excited for the fact that we've got good, exciting basketball in Kansas City. It's happening this week. This town's always electric when the Big 12 tournament comes to town. Get a lot of people here. Power and Light, T-Mobile Center, the whole downtown area is going to be bustling.
Well, what's crazy is not only we got the Big 12
We
tournament
get to show off
coming
our
up,
town.
we got the NFL draft coming up. We got a lot of stuff going on in Kansas City. We got not MLS, FIFA, Soccer World Cup coming, the World Cup coming. I mean, like,
I think that's a few years down the line.
it is, but Kansas City's got a lot of things going on. So
Oh,
if
hell yeah,
you're
we do.
looking at coming to Kansas City,
Got the
maybe-
first women's dedicated soccer stadium opening next year, opening about this time next year.
Yeah,
We're about 12 months out from that stadium opening down in my neighborhood, down the River Market.
I'll probably be out there.
I'll likely be out there too, since I live there.
Be a good time. But anyway, getting away from Kansas City, I guess, a little bit. Kansas City does not have an NHL team. And I think we got to talk a little bit about the NHL since we're getting down to crunch time.
What a transition. That was graceful. Speaking of Kansas City does not have a hockey team. Let's talk some hockey. That was graceful, my friend.
Had to do what I could. I don't know.
No, the hockey trade deadline. I've been saying this to anybody that will listen to me for like the last week and a half.
It's been crazy.
It is the wildest trade deadline in any professional sport that I have followed in my life in any season ever. It started like really early with a lot of big deals happening. We've talked through a number of them. We talked through the majority of them. And when we left last week, I was speculating that Patrick Kane was going to be dealt to the New York Rangers.
And you speculated correctly.
Lo and behold, Patrick Kane gets dealt to the New York Rangers. He has been introduced. He has played his first games as a New York Ranger. My Chicago Blackhawk friends, namely Mitch, are just weeping tears of sadness. But they're holding out hope. Many of these NHL franchises that are having down years have a lot of room for hope, a lot of room for excitement. And that is the tank for Bedard movement. Connor Bedard.
I'm hoping the Blues get Bedard.
Oh, you and me both, brother.
I've watched some of his clips.
Dude, he
looks amazing.
Nasty.
Dude, his puck movement with the stick is just phenomenal. Like
You're such a treat to listen
he
to.
fakes out. He fakes out like 3 defenders and then scores a goal. So the 4th defender there that he fakes out is the goalie.
There's nothing that you're saying that's wrong, though. No, I mean the guy's absolutely filthy. Every team in the NHL wants a piece of Connor Bedard, and the NHL is a lottery draft,
Like the NBA. Yeah.
like the NBA.
Okay.
That's one thing that a lot of people would argue NHL and NBA have figured out over the NFL and the MLB. Teams can still tank in the NFL and the MLB to get a guaranteed first pick. If you finish last, you draft first.
Yep.
That's not a guarantee in those other sports. And that's something that people argue the NHL and the NBA have figured out. And with this upcoming draft lottery that we're going to see over the next month or two for the NHL draft, every single team, there is not a team that I don't think, I would argue, and this is kind of what puts it into account, and what makes it so interesting that we've seen so many first round picks traded during this trade deadline.
Yeah.
Because you think about these teams that have a shot at the first overall pick, because only certain teams have a shot at it. But any team that has a chance at this, if you're a team that's got 2 of those picks within the first 10 or 15, there's no team that's going to trade away the rights to the first round pick or the first overall pick if they win the lottery. There is not a team in the NHL that is going to walk away from Connor Bedard.
How many teams get a chance at that first overall pick? Is it, because I think in the NBA it's like 4 or 5?
It's at least 5.
Okay.
It's at least 5. It might be north of that. But these teams, this is the biggest hockey prospect, I believe, since Sidney Crosby.
Which is crazy.
So, 20 years.
Yes. I remember watching Sidney Crosby when I was in high school, and he was a beast.
Sidney Crosby was, him and LeBron came around in the same time, and
yep.
LeBron was that big coming up in the NBA. This is a generational talent, or is prospected to be a generational talent. So all this tank for Bedard, it's going to be really interesting to see where he winds up. Yeah. Fingers crossed that somehow the Blues wind up getting into finding a chance. Hopefully they just keep losing games. STL.
The worst 5
You're not making the playoffs.
So
you're not going to contend in the playoffs. Lose out. If you're going to win, only win against the good teams. Lose against the bad teams.
So with that being said, this season, who do you think is going to be in the conference finals?
Conference finals, great question. For me, the Golden Knights have really been gaining ahead of steam.
Las Vegas, okay. I got you.
They're pretty much, since they came into the league, they've been solid. Yeah. I'm going to say that Vegas is in there.
Do you think the Avalanche can do anything?
They've struggled with injury issues this year. It's not that they don't still have a ton of talent on that team, because they do.
Yeah.
They haven't been the team they were last year this year. I'm not saying I don't think that they have the capability to do it. I just haven't gotten the impression with how they've played this year that's where they're at.
Maybe a little Stanley Cup hangover or something like that.
Maybe. And their roster did flip over a lot, but they've just dealt with a ton of issues. They've had a new goaltender all year. The injuries, that's kind of my thought.
Gotcha.
I expected them to be stronger this year, but I really just attribute it to the injury bug that, they stayed relatively healthy last year. Like, they still struggled with some, and Nazem Kadri had that injury during the postseason. But
right.
they've just gotten bit by the injury bug hard this year. And that's tough. Like, especially when you have that talented of a team that has already proven that they have the ability to.
I feel like they should have gone back to back.
In a perfect world, they would absolutely be in the conference finals going up against somebody. I just think they've struggled this year due to injuries.
Okay.
I'm going to say Vegas, and I'm going to say the Dallas Stars. Yeah. The Dallas Stars have looked good this year.
They were good last year too.
They were okay last year. I just think that they've figured it out a little bit more. So I'm going to say for the Western Conference, I'm going to say Vegas, and I'm going to say, that's not to say that a team like Edmonton couldn't squeeze in, a team like LA. It's not to say that it couldn't be the Avs. I'm going to say Vegas, and I'm going to say Dallas. And the East, holy shit. Like, there's a reason I waited to do the East, because I'm trying to process it in my own head as far as who the hell I think.
You got to go with the Rangers, right? The Rangers, they've just brought on so much talent within the past couple of weeks.
Here's the deal.
Like,
if I'm leading with a team in the East, it's the Boston Bruins. They have been the best team.
That's respectable.
From day one this year, before any deals got made at the deadline. They have been the best team, and that was what the Avalanche were all year last year, and the Avalanche wound up winning last year.
Yep.
The Bruins are as good as the Avalanche were last year. The Bruins are the fastest team to 100 points in a regular season in NHL history.
That's crazy.
They're really fucking good. That being said, you bring up the Rangers. The Rangers made deals to get Tarasenko. The Rangers made deals to get Patrick Kane.
Right.
They already had Artemi Panarin. They already had some studs over there. The Rangers are a contender there. I would say one of the toughest teams still out there is the Carolina Hurricanes, and they've been in the mix for the past 2 or 3 years.
They've definitely made the playoffs the past 2 or 3 years.
Well, no, they've been. They were in the conference finals, I believe, last year, or they at least made the second round. But I believe they were in the conference finals last year.
Tampa Bay beat them.
No, Tampa Bay wasn't in the finals last year.
Am I thinking 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think. Now I'm losing my mind. Disregard. Maybe they were. Maybe they just got beat by Colorado in the Stanley Cup last year.
Thought they might have.
You might be right.
Maybe not.
I'm losing my mind. I think you might be right. Actually, it might have been Tampa. It might have been Tampa and Carolina. But the Rangers were in there too. I know Tampa, Carolina, and the Rangers were 3 of the final 4.
Okay.
But Carolina's been really good. Carolina's been consistently good, consistently competitive, and they're tough to beat at home. That energy in Raleigh is electric. I think I talked about it maybe a month or 2 ago, that the fact that Raleigh has become a hockey town, the fact that Nashville is a hockey town.
Right. Well, Las Vegas, even. I mean,
well, Vegas, it makes a little more sense. Vegas is a really huge tourist attraction. Nobody's like, I'm going to Raleigh this weekend. Like, you know what I mean? True. Like Nashville's a tourist attraction to some extent too. So I would even humor Nashville with the Vegas conversation. But Raleigh, that's entirely different. Nobody's like, I'm going to Central North Carolina.
going to watch a hockey game.
Well, if you want to watch an electric hockey game, go to Central North Carolina. Like, the Hurricanes. That fan base, I would love to go out there and see a game. I would probably, being a big enough hockey fan that I am, if the Blues were playing in Carolina, I would absolutely book a trip on a weekend to go out to Raleigh.
Boy, that sounds fun. Let's do it.
I'm down.
We'll make it a TANY Boys trip.
Kara's in. Matt, what do you think?
Yep, let's do it.
Huzzah. But yeah, I would say, a lot of rambling aside, there are a lot of really good teams in the East. My pick for the Eastern Conference Finals is going to be the Boston Bruins and a team I didn't even mention when I was talking about the good teams, the New Jersey Devils.
I'm going Boston Bruins, New York Rangers.
Either one of those matchups would be great because the rivalries are going to be fierce.
Yeah.
If only Philly was in contention. Like, if only Philly was relevant,
Flyers.
I would love to have Boston and New York and Philly all vying for the spots and just ready to kick each other's teeth in. You can't dream for anything better as a sports fan than that.
That would be good. Would be good.
But things that you could think of dreaming a lot better of, Mike's dad jokes. Oh, wait. Whoa, sorry, hold on here. Hold on.
What?
So, I know we had some conversation last week surrounding some disappointment with regard towards
my dad jokes are fine.
Mike's performance. And we wanted...
My performance is fine as well.
In the studio room.
The studio room. So, I did indeed get a 3-pound bag of Laffy Taffy. I was really disappointed to learn that there are no grape Laffy Taffies in here. So, there's that.
Well, so if I read a bad joke, you can just read a maybe
let me
possibly
open this.
Potentially better joke out of those Laffy Taffies. I don't know.
Let me just open this so I'm ready to go with one just in case.
All right. Well, the first dad joke, or daddy joke, if you know what I mean.
We don't.
What do you call a fat psychic?
I can't wait to see where this goes.
I'm going to go with your mom.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
You know my mom listens to this, right?
Yeah, but I don't mean it.
There you go. Way to circle back on that one. No, it's just a fortune teller.
That was
a good one. I don't know what Matt is saying.
I'm just giggly after him saying your mom, but that wasn't the worst joke you've ever told.
Okay.
No.
How do you tell the difference between an alligator and a crocodile?
Alligator.
The size of their mouths
The
or something.
medulla
Man.
oblongata.
No, you see one later, and you see one in a while.
Okay. All right. Well, that brings me to our first.
See you later, alligator.
No, we understood
After
it.
a while, crocodile.
We understood it.
Okay.
That does bring me to our. I address them now once you tell the bad one. That
like
does
that.
bring us to our first Laffy Taffy joke of the evening. What do you deserve, and is also a type of bagel?
I'm going to say everything.
He's right.
That's not even that funny. These are worse than mine.
Oh my God. I can't imagine how you feel.
I thought that was hilarious.
Why do trees seem so suspicious on sunny days?
Because of all their shade.
Okay, hold on. This is wild. Mike's mom is calling him right now.
My mom is calling me right now. I'm not going to answer the phone.
I'm so sorry.
She knows.
Hello? Yeah, I'm in the middle of recording a podcast right now, so... Can I give you a call back when we're done? Sounds good. Okay, bye.
We couldn't have scripted that any better if we
Okay.
tried, ladies and gentlemen. That was fantastic.
Anyway.
Mike, remind me what your mom's name is.
No.
Mike, remind me what's his mom's name, Matt?
I know it. I'm just being more respectful than that right now.
Well,
Julie.
I won't. Okay. Thank you, Julie. Appreciate you calling right now. That was just solid.
Why do trees seem suspicious on sunny days?
Because of their shade. All the shade that they're
Always
around.
be acting shady.
They just seem a little shady. You guys are right. But I think both of you get half a point for that one.
Which brings Adam to...
Total
His
of-
next Laffy Taffy joke.
What? That was a good one too.
2. No, the second one was not good. Let me be very, very clear about that. What is a salad, but can also send a message?
I'm sorry, a solid and can send a
What
message.
What is solid, but can also send a message? Boy, these ones were dumb.
I could literally give you a bad answer to
A
this.
pencil.
Go ahead and give me a bad answer.
A pen.
A post. I don't know.
That's pretty solid.
I'd say it's pretty.
You guys think these Laffy
That was a solid
jokes?
joke.
You
No.
guys think these Laffy Taffy jokes are better than mine? But
I didn't say that.
really not.
I didn't say
They're
that.
really not. They're really a lot worse.
Our sample size is only 2. We have a much larger sample size of
All
your
right.
jokes.
Well, we'll keep at him.
I will, because guess what? I get to enjoy sour apple.
Well, have fun trying to get that open. It seems like you're struggling. A little
3
bit.
pounds of it. Mike said 20 pounds got delivered, and I just want to know where the other 17 pounds are.
It felt like 20 pounds when I was carrying the box in from my front step.
Matt, you want some Laffy Taffy?
Yeah, I'll take one. But you guys want to hear something pretty funny too?
Sure.
The Laffy Taffy has distracted Adam from the outline.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, it has. He's right. And with that, we remind you that Mike's dad jokes are sponsored by Travis Koppel and the Platinum Realty team, the Jenkins team. We are proud to have them as a sponsor of Mike's dad jokes. Remember, Travis Koppel, Jenkins Team, Platinum Realty. No pressure, just results. Phone number 913-961-7110. Specializing in the first responders community. Travis himself is a first responder, has been for a number of years. Very familiar with that community. If you're looking to find a new home, if you're looking to purchase a new home, if you're looking to sell your home, reach out to Travis, reach out to the team. They'll be more than happy to give you a consultation, learn a little bit more about what you want to do. And we are very thankful for sponsors like Travis who help us put on There's Always Next Year and help us continue to put out episodes. So thanks so much. And as always, let's ride.
Thank you, Travis, for supporting my dad jokes. I know they are the best, even though Adam tries to read off of some Laffy Taffy bullshit, and it's not quite that great. But speaking about bullshit, we got...
That was a way better transition than the Kansas City hockey one.
We got some MLB Spring Training going on, so I think Adam needs to talk a little bit about some MLB Spring Training. The umpires, like maybe leaving the middle of a game or something like that. I don't know. But Adam, what's going on in MLB?
So we had kind of an interesting situation happen in MLB last week during a spring training game out in Florida between the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Baltimore Orioles. It was something that up until it happened, I'd never really thought about it for spring training and like getting players reps purposes. But it was something kind of interesting that these two managers agreed upon, these two teams agreed upon. So
roll the clip.
Per usual, yeah. We'll let you go ahead and roll the clip.
The umpires seem satisfied with ending the game, and the Orioles have Freddie Gomez, who is scheduled to pitch today. They would like him to pitch, but usually what that is it's an agreement with the managers. They consult the umpires, and they have dinner reservations. About 150 years ago.
They got dinner reservations.
Yeah, they used to do it this way. What do you think?
No.
All right.
Sorry.
Neil's got it.
I got it.
All right, Neil, what do you think here?
No.
All right.
He goes, bow, bow, bow.
And when they have the robot umps eventually.
I tell you what, if you were tuning in right now in Pittsburgh, you might be a little bit
Foul ball.
confused.
This game that doesn't count is already over.
This game that doesn't count is already over.
So the overall concept of this, which by the way, I just dipped into this red Laffy Taffy thinking it was strawberry and it's cherry. I should have looked closer at the flavors I was buying when I got that bag. I thought these were strawberry. I thought there was grape in here. The sour apple's good, but I don't want the banana either. So I might have to buy another bag.
What's the pink one?
Cherry. That's what I just said.
Looks pretty good. I'm going to try one.
Okay. So much sound coming from your house right now.
Sounds like there's a raccoon trapped in your walls.
I'm not convinced it's not.
It very well could be.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not convinced it's not.
A bird stuck up there.
No, it's not a bird. That is a large rodent minimum. But what was interesting about this game is I thought initially that it had something to do, when I saw the headline, that it had something to do with MLB rule changes and something to do with the pitch clock or something like that. It has nothing to do with any of that. It has to do with the fact that these two coaches agreed they wanted to see this pitcher that they'd scheduled to pitch get an innings reps worth of throws in during an actual spring training game. Easy. And for spring training's sake, you're chewing really loud, really close to that microphone. I'm not distributing Laffy Taffy anymore. It was a bad decision. For the sake of spring training, they want these guys to get reps. These are guys that the majority of them are not going to make the MLB roster, that they are on these spring training rosters. They want to give these guys as many reps as possible to get views of them, to be able to observe what their skill level is and what they bring to the table. And I think it's really interesting because, funny enough, the two teams that are doing it are brand new managers for teams that are bottom of the barrel. I'm saying, as a baseball fan, based on what I know, I would be really psyched if I saw my team doing that during spring training. Obviously, it's not going to happen during the regular season. You don't want to risk injuring your guys by running them extra.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. I don't want to be devil's advocate or whatever, but like, I know you're only playing one more half inning, but let's say the pitcher that you had scheduled to pitch comes out there, beams the guy in the head, and then he gets hurt.
That's fucking dark.
Well, I'm just saying, you don't want your players to be getting hurt. Or let's say like the batter hit, there's no umpires even out there, the game's over, game's done, the batter goes up there and, I don't know, hits a ball into left center field, and the center fielder or left fielder tries to dive for that ball, and they break a collarbone trying to dive for that ball. I don't want my players getting hurt because of an extra inning spring training game that all of a sudden just happened because the managers came together and wanted to do it when there's obviously also no umpires out on the field. That's my thought, and I get where you're coming from. I 100% get where you're coming from. Give the guys in a spring training game more time to play, more time out on the field.
Give the guys that are playing for a spot.
But just for like the 3% chance that someone's gonna get hurt during a game, I don't know if I'd risk it.
And that's fair. I get where you're coming from. For me, yeah, spring training's all about reps. And I would guess in that situation, most importantly, those reps were for the pitcher. I'm guessing like right. if there's a play, because again, remember that the overall outcome of that game was already decided before that half inning started. So right. So the score that was reported, whatever, the stats, any of that, that's not factoring in.
So you think that there was a ball in between.
So let's say there's a ball hit to the outfield, like you're talking about, guy dives. I'm thinking the guy doesn't dive. I'm thinking it's almost like your Pro Bowl.
Yeah, they wouldn't even try for it.
It's your basically. Pro Bowl where they're playing at 60, 70%. Right. And they're not putting themselves in a situation where a play is going to injure them. I would hope and think in that scenario. Obviously, freak things do happen. Non-contact injuries happen. Non-contact injuries, fortunately, don't happen very much in baseball.
Achilles tendon would be the only one that I could probably think.
Right, and again,
torn.
Achilles tendons don't happen when you're doing 65-70% effort. You're not tearing them then.
Typically,
you're tearing them when you are stretching yourself to your body's limit. Same with when you're tearing about anything.
Yeah.
Unless you land in a divot somewhere or something like that, and you roll your ankle, you tear your ACL, something like that, and you would think those fields are in good enough shape. But again, not to say that freak accidents don't happen. They obviously do.
Right.
But I think it's just interesting. And I'm curious to see if any other teams utilize this, even for just another half inning, even for just, hey, I was hoping to get this guy another half inning. Do you care about sending up 3, 4, 5 batters?
Right.
Like one, I really appreciate the mutual respect for the Orioles and Pirates managers to just go out and
the coaches be able to go and talk about it and
chat it up real quick and say, hey,
this is what I wanted to do. I need to get this guy some work. Are you willing to put up?
And maybe it was mutual. Maybe the other manager said, hey, I want to see these guys get another at bat in too.
Yeah.
Again, there are a lot of guys playing for jobs, and a lot of guys even playing for the ability to get signed to a minor league deal if like a lot of these are non-roster invites that have either made a splash in sub capacity or players who are maybe on the back end of their career but might still have some juice left in the tank.
Yep.
I think that's kind of what Aroldis Chapman got brought in by the Royals on, is more or less kind of something like that. That we'll see how that signing plays out.
Well, he already got a fat lip off of falling down in his house, so
down in his house.
We'll see what happens with that.
I don't buy it.
I buy it. I'm gonna ride with him. Fine.
That's a really interesting position to take, knowing that man's background.
Maybe I don't know his background that well.
Maybe I identified it in our group chat earlier this week. I wouldn't say that with a shit-eating grin like you're saying right now.
Anyway, what's going on in LIV Golf TV fiasco, Adam?
Well, it was a TV fiasco. Thanks for that. We're gonna have transition training next week before the episode. But so LIV Golf, we've obviously talked about a number of times, and we talked about during this golf off season about how both of these leagues are trying to revamp their platform, revamp their production,
right,
to try to engage more viewers, engage younger viewers, do it in a way that's a little bit different from what they have before. And we had a lot of speculation surrounding, was LIV going to get more of the market share going into this? Was this team approach that they were bringing to the table going to gain and maintain people's attention?
I don't think it has gained any attention as far as the people, I mean, that love to watch golf goes. I have not watched a single LIV event. I don't know.
So it sounds like a lot of people have not. I know that golf has been getting... PGA golf has been getting some decent viewers. I know a couple weeks ago, as we talked about, Tiger played in the Genesis Invitational. Whenever you get Tiger out for something, people are going to tune in.
For sure.
With how Jon Rahm is playing right now, you're going to get people to tune in. Max Homa looks good. Scotty Scheffler looks good. Kurt Kitayama with a big first win in his 50th start this weekend as well.
Could have used a big Zalatoris win this past week, but that did not happen. He ended up sucking. So, sorry for my bets.
Sorry for your bets, too. But LIV Golf's first event of the year happened within the last week and a half. And these ratings come out, and they were so bad. And now the execs at LIV are coming out saying, oh no, those ratings were distorted. That's
what I thought I saw today.
We didn't have all the figures reporting in from some of the late days on the tournament, and we had 3.2 million people tuning into this event. And
did they though?
What were we saying about feeling shady? You were telling a joke about feeling shady. That feels fucking shady.
I agree.
LIV Golf. I mean, I'm all for you guys coming to the table and bringing a product that can compete with the PGA. I want that competition.
What?
I want to see the XFL continue to gain ratings and to do something to compete. Like, I don't think they're going to compete directly with the NFL, but as far as gaining viewership, jeez, and engagement.
And football in the spring is great.
Right.
I love that. I love watching the XFL.
Right.
Went to a bar yesterday and was able
that's
to
what I'm
watch some
saying.
XFL games. But I'm not going to go out of my way to go watch LIV Golf at this point in time. Like, they need to do better. They need to do something to engage me a little bit more. Like, we were out in Colorado the other week, and what we were watching? The PGA. And what were we betting on? The PGA. For some reason, that was engaging to us. I don't know why.
Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods. There you go.
I walked in the house. I said, Tiger's playing today. Let's turn on the Genesis Invitational.
LIV has Phil Mickelson, but that's not as engaging as Tiger Woods.
Phil isn't Tiger Woods.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's not to say that with the quality of talent and the caliber of golfers they have, that they couldn't make a more compelling platform than they have currently.
Correct. I guess that's what I was trying to say.
And that's the opportunity that stands in front of them, is they have the rest of this 2023 season before PGA even further launches themselves into the 21st century as far as engaging with the younger viewer.
Yep.
With the Team Golf League on Monday nights
that we highlighted a couple weeks ago.
We're going to be watching right when Monday Night Football ends, come next winter, spring. They have a very short time window to figure out how to drive engagement before I think they get further left behind and this becomes the XFL of 20 years ago.
I mean, you can pay the guys as much money as you want, but if you're not getting viewership on that, which it doesn't seem like they are, or they're faking how much viewership they're getting, like it's nothing. Like you're done.
Right.
So
no, I agree, and it's time for make it or break it for them. They've got to figure it out now.
I agree. But now, guess what it's time for?
I believe it's time for the final segment of the evening, which means it's time for Matt's Hostile Takeover.
Bum bum bum.
Today I've just got a quick conversation that I had with my 6-year-old son, Benjamin.
I love these. The first time you did this, I was psyched about it. I'm glad we've got another one.
Yeah, this one's not recorded, so this one's just a retelling of it, but it was too funny not to share. We recently cut our cable. We were getting with the times, got rid of cable. And
cut the cord. Yep,
cut the cord. And we've got Google Fiber Internet now. And so Saturday was rolling around, and I wanted to see if this HD antenna that I had bought worked with my TV, because I wanted to see if I could get SNL that night, because Travis Kelce was hosting.
There you go.
And so got it all set up, got the news station on, and what do you know, the local news, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever it was rolling teasers for Travis Kelce hosting. And I was like, well, I think I found the right station. And I let it be for a little bit, and I think Benjamin was playing on a Nintendo Switch or something. Went upstairs to help with dinner a little bit.
That was nice of you.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Didn't think much of it though, and still really didn't. And I don't know. Eventually, one of us turned off the TV, but no conversation was had that night. Well, today, last week I had COVID. This week, the rest of my family has COVID.
Bum, bum, bum.
So Benny wasn't in school today, but so over lunch, I had the opportunity to answer a bunch of questions he had about every which natural disaster was coming up. Hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes. It just kept going, and he, it was kind of fun, honestly. Yeah. And he was in good spirits about it, just curious, wasn't anxious, worried, whatever. But finally, he goes, and because it could be a really big hurricane, so that's why we shot down the weather balloon, right?
That's fantastic.
And yeah. I go, what? And he goes, yeah, I was watching the news the other night when you guys didn't know, and I saw that something about shooting down a weather balloon, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is hilarious.
We've also talked about that on the podcast, so
yeah. But so I explained to him, no, like he really thought weather balloons cause hurricanes, like that the balloon was a weather balloon because it caused the weather.
Do we have definitive proof that they cannot?
No, and exactly. Also I don't know what he watched. So for like a little bit I was thinking he literally was watching some YouTube like
conspiracy.
Yeah, I had no idea. But so after he goes, okay, I understand, and we're talking some more, and I'm showing him videos of like time lapses of hurricanes and stuff, just like how big they are. And he goes, wow, that one's so big. That could have been like 10 weather balloons. And I go, no, buddy. Remember, they don't cause them. Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Weather balloons don't cause the hurricanes.
So we'll probably have to have that conversation a couple more times.
Stinking China just sending weather balloons over here trying to give us hurricanes.
COVID.
And COVID, yeah. Of course I get it the week after the U.S. is very staunch in saying that it's China's virus.
It is China's virus.
China.
China.
Well, where did the virus come from?
China.
China.
Just like everything here, it's made in
China.
China.
And with that, friends, we'll bid you adieu. It's March.
Joining us here, coming up on the set.
God.
Right now. I'm sorry to make you walk
Damn
by. They
it.
won't give me golf.
I can't get it to stop.
Here he is. I know. There it goes.
It really won't. All right, we're good.
That was fantastic.
You're welcome.
Watching you just beat the shit out of the keyboard was a real treat. Friends, it's been fun. I think we probably got a little bit more off topic than we usually do just on our tangents, but it's been a fun episode.
It's been a good one.
Have a great week. We look forward to connecting with you more. We look forward to your pet pics. Send me your
I
pics.
still don't think we've gotten any.
Of your pets.
So you better get on that.
The fact that I've got to yell at you about it is a little bit infuriating. That being said, as always, just remember one thing.
Don't forget, there's always next year.
Blessings. What in the was that?